We are continuing the trend of another great episode right before the final. Right before the final, it delivered. Delivered. My team, my team, my team. We're going to get into them. But if you're new here, hit subscribe. Do that real quick. Shout out to y'all for last week. Last week's episode did really, really well. Help me with doing that thumbs up again. Get down there, thumbs up the video, get in the comments, hype the video, share the video. And yeah, we got a good episode. Another good episode. And then that final looks like it's going to be quite interesting. So this season is literally, it started with a bang, it's continued to bang, and it's looking like it's going to end with a bang. So let's do it. All right, so we get back where we left off, which was Cedric and Michaela winning that elimination. He knows nobody's really happy to see them back, and he notices that everybody's being weird. And essentially all he knows at this point is that all he has in the game is Michaela, and we just really got to lock in because we know that final is right around the corner. But Olivia, we see her in there with Adrian and Theo, and they're happy that it all worked out the way that they wanted it to. And at this point, they can kind of guarantee that at least one of them is making the final. So Theo's feeling good about the possibility of getting the majority vote as long as they're in the middle. As long as they're not last or win, they can actually control the vote to make sure that both of them are through to the final. But Olivia, she's feeling confident for the first time in a long time in this game. Yeremi, she already knows he's a beast in the game. So at that point, she's not really concerned about how they're going to perform. But Aviv, she wrote notes and letters to everybody before she left. Nani ends up getting the note that Will left Justin, and she's reading it. And Will's making it seem like he feels like Justin knew about the situation all along, was backstabbing him. He said he will not forgive Nani because she used him, which is why word on the curb is, rumor is that he went in Anissa, which I'm pretty sure we're going to find that out at the reunion. Petty, but it's good TV. Like, that's why I said Will need to come back. Will's definitely got to come back. And he's probably going to come back considering the fact that he was a large part of tonight's drama. We'll get to it. But Nani's reading the letter to Justin, and she's confused as to what she would have possibly used him for. And she was like, what, because I used you for some dick? Like, I feel like you benefited from that as well. And she's confused as to how she's the enemy. She's right in terms of him benefiting from actually fucking her, basically, because she was well connected socially in the game, which helped him in that game because she was going to make sure that he wasn't targeted until that point, especially considering how Will, he was a hothead. So many people could have thrown him in if they wanted to, but I feel like he escaped considering his connection with Nani. But Nani then states, too, that it breaks her heart because she doesn't want Will leaving thinking that she didn't care about him or whatnot. That's your problem, Nani. You worried about the wrong thing. Wrong thing, but we're going to get to it in a minute. But she then states that he's mad at them when there's other people that he should be mad at. So Nani then states, too, that he should have taken it out on Cedric, who knew and didn't give him a heads up. I said, no, y'all, you just mad because you got played. He shouldn't take that out on Cedric because Cedric didn't vote. Yes, Cedric and Michaela really was the ones that kind of spearheaded y'all getting the idea of throwing them in. But guess what? They didn't vote. So they can't be at fault. Y'all did it. Y'all are grown. You don't have to vote that way, even if she told you to. Y'all did it, so y'all are to blame. Like, none of you are 100% at fault, but we'll get to it. But Justin then says that Yeremi staking the claim was a bitch move, and it fucked up somebody else's game because of it. It's not a bitch move, because Yeremi's game, Yeremi would have been in that elimination. He could have went home. He saved his own game. So at that point, it's not a bitch move. It's a smart move for Yeremi. But Justin is stating that Cedric and Michaela been wanting this, and they play a dirty game, and they must have been a match made in heaven for two people that read the Bible. That shit don't fly with me. Stop doing that. They was doing that twice. They did it twice this episode, making jokes about them reading the Bible. They're playing a game. They're playing a game. Just because they're reading the Bible in the game does not mean that they can't play a game. Like, I don't like that. But Michaela, she's talking to Cedric, Turbo, and Sydney because they're out now. They didn't even show them, like, kind of transitioning out to the club like they normally do. But she's talking to Cedric, Turbo, and Sydney about the energy shift in the house now. And this is where all the drama starts. This was the first 20 minutes. We ain't had a first 20 minutes as action-packed as this. When I'm talking about, like, arguments, drama, in such a long time. It was good TV. Good TV. But she's talking about the energy shifts. And Sydney was like, I mean, there's two stories that are going around right now. One is that Nani flipped because they wanted y'all out, essentially, or Yeremi out to make it easier for them in the final. Or the second option is that you and Cedric orchestrated everything that happened. Michaela says, I mean, everybody was going to vote for Aviv and Yeremi. So Sydney was like, I mean, the rumor is that it was your request, which to a certain degree it was, but we'll get to it. But Michaela then states that it was in everybody's interest besides the two of y'all because y'all were safe to vote them in. Like, who else would have been voted in? Olivia and Will? Like, so Sydney was like, why say anything at all? Michaela says, because I can. Exactly. Like, because I can. Literally. Michaela's in her confessional and she states that somebody's blaming me for a vote that they were going to do anyways. And that's outlandish to me because Yeremi should be the one that's upset, which she's not wrong. If anybody should be mad at Cedric and Michaela, it should be him. But like she stated too, he knows he has no reason to be mad at me, which is why he's not mad because I ain't made no promises to him. He's done nothing for me in the second half of this game. So at this point, they don't owe him any loyalty, which regardless, at this point in the game or at the beginning of the game, they don't owe them any loyalty because guess what? It's a game. At the end of the day, only one team is going to win. Is Michaela in a team with Yeremi? No, she's in one with Cedric. Is Cedric in the team with Yeremi? No, he's in a team with Michaela. They're going to do what they can to get to the end. If they can kind of manipulate somebody into doing their dirty work for them, why would they not do that? They're the only ones playing the game. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. But Michaela, she ends up asking who's mad that I said something. She ends up asking Yeremi if he's mad that she said something, and he says no. He says no. Michaela says, so he don't care, and he's the one in the elimination, so why are y'all worried about it? Exactly. But Sydney was like, because it doesn't matter. Michaela says it didn't matter when the vote happened, so at this point, what are you talking to me about this for? But Turbo then says, Sydney, why do you care if he don't give a fuck? Facts. Like, he was like, let him handle that issue if it's an issue for him, and it's not an issue for him in this moment until he gets other people backing him up. But Turbo then says that he's focused on the final. Sydney needs to be focused on the final instead of sitting here trying to play friends. Like, you need to concentrate on the final because nobody in here is y'all's friend. Turbo's not stupid. Turbo is 100% correct. But he tells her that it's not her business and he gets up and walks away. And he's over there playing Pac-Man as all this shit is going on. But Michaela says, I think the issue is over there. Which she's pointing at Theo and them. But Sydney says Turbo is so annoying because he walked off on her. But she's in her confessional stating that Turbo feels inferior to Yeremi because she's close to him and she's friends with him. No. Turbo is right. You're worried about shit that don't concern you. Like, you should have just been sitting back watching them go back and forth. You interjecting puts you in a situation where you don't really need to be, which is what Turbo's basically stating. But Michaela then says, I said, why is there a shift in energy after the deliberation? And Yeremi says, things got exposed. And Michaela says, such as? He says that you and Cedric asked for me and Aviv to go into that elimination. Michaela says, I spoke to Olivia, Theo, and Adrian. And Yeremi says, and you asked them to do it. Not really. She literally just basically went in there and told them, like, at this point, for y'all to be good or whatever, I'm expecting to hear Yeremi and Aviv. She didn't ask them to do it. She just said, this is what I'm expecting. Basically, if y'all three want to make sure y'all are not in the elimination, that's what I expect to hear. She didn't ask them to do it. Can you put them in? She didn't do that. She definitely nudged them she nudged them in a direction to help them, but she didn't ask for it. The only person she really asked for it, she really didn't ask anything. Even with Nani, she didn't even ask. She basically just stated a statement that gave you the inclination of where she wanted it to go. They just fell for it. But Yeremi says that you asked. She says, I didn't ask. She said, I said the extra vote ain't going to go towards y'all, talking about Olivia and them. You can calm down. There's no need to scramble. Basically what I just said. But Adrian and them, they sitting over there eavesdropping saying, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. They're good at gaslighting, talking about Michaela and Cedric. So Nani says in her confessional, she's seeing the type of players that Michaela and Cedric are. And Michaela is manipulative, shady, and she's not somebody that she could trust. And Cedric, she thought he was super sweet and whatever, but she expected more from him. I said, because they're playing the game. They're playing the game, and you played the game that they wanted you to play, and now you're mad at them for you getting played. Like, what? But Nani gets up and walks over there, which all of this, Nani looks stupid. Let's call a spade a spade. She looked dumb because she was mad because her whole issue is that she's mad that Will took out the issue on her that she caused. Yes, Michaela told you that, but you have played this game so many seasons. You don't have to do what Michaela tells you to do. You don't have to do it, but you decided to do it, which resulted in Will leaving the show. So yeah, it is your fault. It is your fault. Michaela didn't vote, but we'll get to it. But Nani walks over there and says that she needs to interject because it's some bullshit. So she's like to Michaela, you came in to me pretty much stating, Nani, you know what time it is, and pointed at Aviv's bed. Michaela says, yeah, that's true. Nani says, so you said that you wanted Aviv in the elimination against you. Am I right or am I right? Michaela says, I mean, there's two different words, which like I just said, like she didn't state that, but she kind of inclined that that's what she wanted. Inclined, indicated. It's late at night, y'all. But she basically stated that, and Nani's like, don't twist it, don't twist it. Michaela says, first of all, because she's raising her voice, first of all, lower your voice. Hello. We can talk normal. You don't have to be loud. So Theo interjects and states that you two, talking about Michaela and Cedric, said that you wanted Aviv and Yeremi. Cedric says, stop saying you two, because I didn't say nothing, which he didn't. And Michaela says, exactly, he never said anything. Say me. Say I said it. I said what you know you should do. And Nani was going to vote that way anyways. Nani says, because you wanted it. Michaela wanted that. You didn't want it. You didn't have to do it. You're mad at Michaela because she got you to do what you wanted. Well, I ain't going to say she got you to do it. You just fell into her trap. And I don't even want to call it a trap. You just did what she wanted. You did her dirty work. And Michaela's only played this game. This is her third season. Nani has played this game. I can't even tell you how many times. So for you to come on the show and let somebody who has only played this game twice, well, now a third time, control you to where you put yourself in a situation to fuck your own game, that's your fault. It's not Michaela. It's not Michaela's fault. But she states that, and Nani says that you wanted it. Michaela says, no, we talked about it. And Nani says, yeah, because you said you wanted them. You can't play me, bro. I said she did play you. But Michaela says, I mean, I don't understand what y'all are upset about. It's a vote. Hello, it's a game. But Nani says it put us in a position to where we'll win, and he thinks that we orchestrated everything. I said he's gone, so what does it matter? What does it matter? He's not still in the game. Like, he's gone. Worry about that after the fact. Like, you sitting here getting mad at her because Will thinks that you are the reason as to why he went home, which is literally the truth. You are. But Nani says that it comes down, and the reason why I'm stating this too, if Nani didn't open her big mouth and go tell Aviv that she was going to vote for her and just voted for her like they were planning to do, Will would still be in the game, because guess what? Yeremi wouldn't have stuck a claim on Olivia, which was his partner. If you would have shut up and just voted when it mattered instead of telling somebody because you wanted to be such a good person, you're playing a game. You're not a bad person for playing the game. That's Nani's fault. Nani is just like Anissa. They come onto these games season after season after season, making the same mistakes every time, and then wonder why they don't win. Like, I don't get it. But Nani says it came down to, actually, I might have skipped something. Yeah, Nani says it comes down to me pretty much telling the girl that I worked with all season that I was saying her name out of respect. Again, you played yourself. But Michaela is asking, okay, so why are you so upset? Like, why are you so upset? Nani says, because I feel like you're trying to play me. Cedric says, I'm not going to let this slide. Like, at this point, Olivia feeling tough now because at this point, Michaela and Cedric are getting jumped. She under her breath, oh, shut up, Cedric. Say it to his face, Olivia. Olivia's a punk, bro. Like, I'm telling you, she be saying shit and feeling tough, and them confessionals are under her breath. She never can state that shit with her chest. Like, she never can. But Cedric then says to Nani, how you gonna blame us for your decision to put him in? You decided that. Did you or did you not vote him in? He's 100% correct, because she's the reason, like I just said. But Nani says, no, you weren't there. You weren't there. Shut your fucking mouth. You weren't there, so shut the fuck up. I'd have said, who the fuck are you talking to? Nani got a thing about getting in people's faces, getting all high power, aggressive and stuff, and then telling them to shut the fuck up and whatever. She gonna meet the right person wrong. She gonna meet the wrong person on the right day, and they gonna end up knocking her out. But Cedric, which, I mean, granted, I'm enjoying it for TV, but like, couldn't be me. But Cedric's in his confessionals and saying, like, you overplayed your hand. You put yourself in that position. You sent him in, and I hear a whole bunch of use. So why are you mad at me? Exactly, Cedric. Exactly. But Nani then states that she went out. She pretty much went out to show respect to Aviv and let her know. And Michaela says, and that's the dumb move that you made. You shouldn't have made that move, which is 100% correct. Like, that's the reason as to why everything happened. But Nani then comes in charging forward. I said changing. Charging forward at Michaela now like she done lost her mind. Who are you pressing? And Michaela says, stay back before you get popped, basically. She didn't say that, but I did. But Nani says, I mean, it all blew up in my face. And Michaela says, I mean, yeah, and you shouldn't have said anything. Literally. Nani says, I mean, that's how you operate. That's not how I operate. I said, and that's why you've never won. Because you make the same mistakes every time. You cannot come into a game trying to be best friends with everybody all the way to the end. You're going to have to make a move that might come off snake-like. If you really want to win the money, you're going to have to do it. Because Aviv did it. Aviv didn't tell you that she knew that Yeremi was going to stake a claim, and then it happened in your face, and you almost went in the elimination for it. Like it's crazy. But Justin, he's realizing Nani doing all of this right now is not looking good for them, considering the fact that they're so close to the final. But Nani is now telling Michaela, this is not Survivor. And she's talking to Cedric too. This is not Big Brother. This is the challenge. This is how I play. It don't hit when she says this shit when you have never won. Telling them this ain't this and this ain't that. This is the challenge. You played the challenge so many times and you still ain't figured out how to play it right. Like, that's what I'd have said. This is the challenge. Yeah, and you still haven't figured out how to play it right to get you a win. That's what I would have said. But she ends up asking Cedric, why didn't you tell Yeremi, or why didn't you tell Will that Yeremi was going to stake a claim? Why should he? Because he's not stupid. Cedric says, I mean, I didn't know. But what it sounds like to me, and then Nani cuts him off stating that you should have told your friend that he was going in. Cedric don't know Will like that. Like, maybe they might be friendly on the show, but they're not friends. They've only known each other, 2 months filming the show? That's not a friend. Like, y'all are playing the game. Like, what? So Nani then states, too, what did you say that he was so unaware that he didn't even put on his gym shoes? And Cedric says, I mean, I said, look at the situation, evaluate where you're at and what's going on. Should you be prepared for anything? Basically stating, like, without stating, you need to get ready to possibly go into the elimination. So Nani was like, why didn't you tell him that he was about to go in? Michaela says exactly what I was thinking. Why is that his job? Why is that his job? Nani's now crying in her confessional stating that you're not going to try and make me feel bad and feel sorry when it wasn't my fault. It was your fault. Like, what? And I hope her watching this episode tonight, she realizes, and last week, that it is your fault. It's not their fault that you fell and literally did exactly what they wanted you to do, which resulted in Will going home. They didn't vote. Yes, they told you to do that, but you decided to do it. You didn't have to. Your vote, you running your mouth, resulted in Will going home. It is your fault. It is. But she then states that Will loved and rode for you. You didn't have the decency to let your friend know that, and that's fucked up. That's your problem, Nani. It's not friends. It's the challenge. What did Bailey tell her? The challenge is not for you. But Michaela's like, why are you yelling? Because she yelling. It's like, what? But Turbo's over there playing Pac-Man, which cracked me up. But Nani was like, you let him leave thinking that we fucked him over. Cedric says you did fuck him over. But Nani says, I mean, he said my name first. And Cedric said, did you or did you not say his name? She did. Literally. Even though she is right, he did say her name first. But not only that, why did he say your name first? Because you started everything that got his name put up, basically. But Olivia states everything's a domino effect. And Cedric says, if I may interject, Olivia says, why do I feel like I'm talking to a robot? I said, I know you're not talking. Miss Change your dynamic. She changes her voice. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch her season of Love Island. From start to finish, you'll see the difference in her changing her voice. She changed her vernacular, her dialect to AAVE because she was on a show with Cachet. There's votes that is clear throughout the show. You can see where America is swaying. She saw America was swaying in Cachet's direction. So she then started talking and acting like Cachet. When Cachet left the show, she started acting like Cachet, which is what got her the win. And now she's back to who she really is. So for you to be talking about how somebody speaks, please, Rich. But Michaela was like, that's how he speaks. And Cedric's like, yeah, that's how I speak. Like, please. But Theo ends up asking Yeremi if he's surprised that they wanted him in the elimination. And he says, yes. Nani says, that's the point. I said, the point is pointless. Like, what are we talking about? But Michaela ends up asking Sydney, are you surprised that I would have said Aviv and Yeremi can go? And Sydney says, yes. And Michaela's like, why? Sydney says that she thought it would be a stalemate. Sydney gets in her confessional talking about my thoughts on Michaela and Cedric have changed and gone 180 because the Bible readers are so conniving. The layers of deception is upsetting. So, and I don't really care for them at this point. Again, the Bible comments, like, why? But I was going to say I wish Michaela would get her together, but at this point, she ain't see this. Hopefully they saw the episodes before they filmed the reunion. But Yeremi ends up asking, well, I know she didn't get her together because Michaela was vouching for her a couple weeks ago. But Yeremi ends up asking Cedric if they've ever said anything to Will or Justin. Well, if he's ever said anything to Will or Justin about wanting Yeremi out because they had a deal with Turbo to go to the final. And Cedric's like, yeah, I mean, I have. And there has been a time when I did because we're both strong teams. Like, duh, why would I want to run a final with a strong team? But Yeremi states, well, that's why there's something a little bit weird right now. He says in his confessionals that Cedric is one of the biggest snakes and he has to go. Michaela says if Nani told Aviv about that vote, Aviv could have told Will. Hello. That is true. Why aren't y'all mad at Aviv for not telling Will? Good question. Theo says, I mean, Nani told her so that she wouldn't be blindsided. Y'all didn't tell Will to blindside him. I said, Theo, shut up. Because did you not do the same shit with Gabe? Like, you did that to blindside the rest of the house. Like, y'all are hypocrites. Shut up. Shut up. But Michaela says, I mean, why was it not Aviv's job to do that, yet y'all trying to make it Cedric's? And then Theo was like, it's not her job. Michaela says, it's not Cedric's. Like, hello? Like, they had no points when it came to Michaela and Cedric. They were trying to pile onto them, but they made no sense. Y'all are just mad because y'all got played. Michaela and Cedric did nothing but play the game. Y'all are just mad that they ran game on y'all so easily, and y'all fell for it. But Theo was like, I mean, if you're friends, they're not friends. That's the point. Y'all are too busy thinking everybody's friends. But Nani says you're fake as fuck if you're friends, and as long as you stand 10 toes down. But she ends up stating that her and Michaela are not the same, and she uses people in the game. Michaela says, who did I use? Nani says, don't play with me, or don't play me. And Michaela says, look, she can't even say the names that I'm supposedly using her, like the people that I've supposedly used in this game. Michaela said in her confessionals, people have trouble with accountability when it comes to committing decisions. You have to commit to those consequences. But this close to the final, it looks like, I mean, if me and Cedric don't win this challenge, we likely going in. But we finally moved to the challenge. This was like 30 minutes in. This is why, look, y'all going to get probably a 40-minute recap out of me for the challenge. The season's giving. But the challenge. We get to it, and it's called Global Exchange. I would have failed this because me and geography, we don't mix. But they have a 1 kilometer road where they're running back and forth. There's maps on the end of each of the world. So some of the countries are placed wrong. They have to fix the maps. They might have to go running back and forth. Obviously, well, not running, riding, because they're chained together on BMX bikes, and they can only transfer one country at a time. So the team that gets the most done the fastest wins. The last place team is in the elimination. You already know the drill. I'm not breaking all that down. I'm not recapping it. The winner of the challenge was Turbo and Sydney. That's another win for them, back to back. Cedric and Michaela and Justin and Nani were the bottom 2 teams, and they were separated by one country. So in this moment, I knew Olivia and Yeremi and Adrian and Theo were going to the final because Olivia, Theo, Adrian have the majority at this point because it's 2 versus whichever one of these teams is going to be in there. So last place was Cedric and Michaela. You already know I was mad. I was mad, but I wasn't mad because I wasn't worried, and they weren't worried either. But Michaela says, I mean, I hope somebody gets into a fight and gets ejected, but it doesn't matter at this point because whoever's nominated, we sending them home. Exactly. But we get back to the house, and Cedric and Michaela, they in the kitchen, and Cedric's like, how many claps you think we're going to get tonight? And she was like 0. And he was like, I mean, I thought I was being nice clapping for everybody all season. And she was like, good thing I ain't looking for applause right now. I'm looking for the money and the win. I said, I know that's right. But Cedric then says, like, we know nobody wants us in here. We know the final is right around the corner. All we got to do is win at this point. And he was like, I don't even care enough to fix these relationships at this point because they're going to hate us anyway. So let's get right to this final. I said, exactly. That's the mentality to have. Olivia, she's feeling good about the numbers, like I just stated, going into the nomination because it's them versus Nani and Justin. Like, it's written in the stars who's going in the elimination. Nani and Justin, they already know they're going in. She's mentally prepared, and they're pretty much trying to talk each other up on, like, pepping each other up to go in there and compete against them. So we get to the nomination, and before we get to voting, Theo makes a comment in his confessional that I wanted to bring up. He says he wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happens and Yeremi better not pull nothing because he going to punch him clean his face. I said, yet you had such an issue when Michaela said it to your wife. Are they engaged? Your soon-to-be wife, the mother of your child. Yet you have no problem stating this about Yeremi. Hypocrite. But Yeremi and Olivia, Theo and Adrian, and Nani and Justin vote in Nani and Justin. But Sydney's trying to figure out why they so kumbaya, because they was laughing about it and everything. I said, exactly. She was like, this is a game for money. I said, yet you was so mad at Michaela and Cedric for playing the game for money and not playing friends. But now you got an issue with it, Sydney, please. Please. Turbo and Sydney, after the nomination, they trying to figure out what this deal is with Nani and Theo. And Turbo's not happy about it, obviously, because he already knows Nani should be on his side. And Theo, they've been like this since basically half the game. And he was like, I mean, regardless, I'm going to still be in her corner. I hope she finds her way back to me. She don't. But Nani, she's telling Justin about like her manifesting the win finally. Same old shit that she always does. But Cedric and Yeremi, they're speculating on what it's going to be. Like what the elimination is going to be. And he's like, Cedric's like, I want a headbanger because I want to show that I'm a dog. I said, exactly. I want it too. Michaela, she talks about how like this, her first season, she was first to go. Last season that she played, which was USA season 2, she got to the final but couldn't finish it. And now she's trying to win this one because this one has been pretty seamless for her until the last couple weeks. And she's like, it's been such a good season. I don't want it to go to waste. Nani is talking about how her opinion on Michaela has changed now. And I'm like, because you got the game played on you, like you mad, like you just like I said, she's just like Anissa coming in here trying to play friends and then getting mad whenever you end up getting sent home because you don't know how to play the game. But we get to the elimination and this is what I wanted. I wanted something like this, Balls In 2.0. But the reason why it's called 2.0, they play at the same time. Normally it's boys versus boys, and they do it by themselves. This time, the boys and the girls are going to be competing at the same time. They have the goals in the middle. The boys are playing on this side, the girls are playing on this side at the same time. Now, the goal is to obviously score the ball in the goal. They play in 3 rounds. Each team will get offense. So the first round will be determined off of who scores the most for both teams. So whoever has the most points out of the best 2 of 3 will win. So whoever wins the most rounds. The losing team goes home, obviously. So Michaela, she says, if this elimination was 3 days before, I would have probably been sad. But over the last 24 hours, I've been turned off, and I don't give a fuck at this point. And Cedric says about pretty much everybody, for everybody to be against us at this point, considering that we're loyal and not disrespectful, and for them to try and not fix the issue, shit gonna get fixed tonight. I said, I know that's right. But Nani says that she knows Michaela's strong. She's not giving up. Justin is worried about the physicality, as you should be. But they begin. Round 1, Michaela and Cedric trucked the fuck out of Justin and Nani. Did the same thing. Michaela straight body checked her and Nani went flying. Cedric did the same thing. Justin went flying. I said, damn. Nani and Justin are on offense now. Justin tried a spin move. Cedric got him down, but he got it in. Justin got his in. But Nani, no ma'am, Michaela's a beast. A beast. Michaela straight body checked her and took her out that ring. So the first round is 3-1 for Michaela and Cedric. So they win the first round. Second round, Michaela got hers in easily. Cedric got his in. Justin put up a little bit of a fight this time. Justin and Nani's offense, Cedric ended up tossing Justin up out of there. Michaela grabbed that ball from Nani and threw that shit on out of there. Easy win for my team. That's my team. That's my team. Nani and Justin are eliminated. Nani ends up stating that she'll never change who she is for the game. You got to change the way you play the game if you want to win, Nani. You not... But Nani and Justin, they're eliminated. If Nani comes back the way she did this season, bring her back every season. Even if she don't win, she gives good TV when she does shit like this. Even though she looks stupid getting played, but she gave the drama. She turned it up. I enjoyed Nani this season just like I did the last season. So, yeah, good. Like, without Casey, Nani's good. Justin, I would actually enjoy seeing him again. He got quieter towards the end of the season, but he performs well. But, yeah, I'd like to see Justin again, too. So, yeah, but we already know we're going to see Nani back. But Justin, I think he'll probably be back too. But TJ lets the final 4 teams know that they made the final. They head back to the final. They head back to the house to toast to making the final. Next week, we got the final. I saw Michaela rolled her damn ankle. Again, and that was nasty too. And you already know that thing is off the bone, basically. But, yeah, we got the final next week. But if you haven't already, give me that. Get in the comments, hype the video if you got something left over, subscribe if you're new, share the video. y'all are my last recap in this apartment that I've been in the last 3 years. So the next time y'all see me, I'll be in a different location in my house. But yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Peace.